Hello everybody, Kirk here with Ink and Impulse, and today I have a pen review and unboxing. So I got this Majohn Q1 mini fountain pen, and I got this in the clear version with a medium nib, and this arrived to me in plastic. So I took the plastic off, and this is the box. So it's already a very big presentation for a mini pen. And on the front of the box, it says, "Feel the temperature of writing!" exclamation. So just a little backstory about me. I'm a very literal person. I know I'm super fun at parties, so I don't actually know what they mean by that. But I'm ready to feel the temperature, whatever that means. I'm ready for it. I'm just going to let that temperature of writing flow through me, I guess. And we'll kind of figure it out along the way. So let's open up the box. I've already taken a look at the manual. All it has is kind of like some diagrams on how to fill fountain pens depending on what type you have. So we have the push button, the eyedropper, the vacuum converter, plunger converter, piston converter, and cartridge. So pretty simple, straightforward, and also a little blurb on how to clean it. As you can see, this is an eyedropper pen. It comes with what feels like a glass eyedropper, and I want to see if this top part comes off, and it does. So your plunger, your little squeezy part comes off for easy cleaning. It has a little foam cut out for it, and here's the pen. Look at how little she is. She's so cute. So I am going to unwrap her and get some of the measurements for you. I'll get a ruler out so we can see how long this is. Look how beautiful this little pen is. She's a little stubby. I thought it was very, very cute and just very unique. I like the huge reservoir that it has that's unimpeded by a converter. And so if we look at this, it reaches with cap almost 4.5 inches. And let's see what we got. A little over 11 centimeters. And let me post it. She's so funny. She's so funny. I love her. I think she needs a name. She feels like a character already. So posted, it's about 5.5 inches. Almost 14 centimeters. So this is what she looks like in the hand. Look at her. So I'm going to go ahead, close it up. Let's look at the outside of this pen. Here's the clip. Pretty sturdy. Definitely got some kickback to it. We do have the branding on the ring. So this is Majohn. This is my first Majohn pen. Here's the finial. Here's the reverse. There's no extra piece to the end part of the body. It is acrylic. It looks like it's filled right there on the end. I chose a medium nib. And this is what it looks like. Here's the feed. Very secure there. I'm definitely going to, so as you can see, there's a little bit of an O-ring right there. I'm not, okay, yeah, that'll work pretty well actually. But I will be putting some silicone grease just around the threads a little bit. It looks like, because this has a step on the inside, it looks like that O-ring is going to make contact there. But just in case some ink slips through, I am going to put some on the threads. But otherwise, look at her. Let's look at the measurements. Just by itself, almost 4 inches. Yeah, about exactly 4 inches. And for me, I have kind of large hands, so that's not super comfortable. I would probably have to post it. But it doesn't feel super sturdy when it's posted, like it could pop off at any time. But I also don't want to scratch the body because the clarity is what kind of drew me to this pen. And yeah, because I like to see ink slosh back and forth. And so, of course, on the listing, it used red ink, and I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to use. So I do have BPC's Firebox. And if you're curious about BPC ink and you haven't seen my last video, I swatched all 45 of my inks. So go ahead and check that out if that's something that you'd like, and share it with your friends if you'd like to see that as well. I'm wondering here, like this is kind of strange. There are threads on the inner portion of the cap that go with this part of the pen. I don't know if I have a pen like that. Am I just crazy and I haven't noticed it? So there's two parts where, well, I guess it's only the one part where it would screw into, but I'm used to seeing the threads around here, and I'm wondering, I guess we just didn't want to do two kind of like double threads like on top of each other there. So anyway, well, let's go ahead and fill this guy up. All I'm gonna do is take the eyedropper and eyedropper it after I put some silicone grease on the threads. So the silicone grease that I am going to use today is from Gouletpenslet, and I do appreciate that the O-ring used here is like an opaque, it's not opaque, but it's definitely like a white, not a black O-ring, which is what I see the majority of the time. So I'm just going to take a little bit from my finger, just the tiniest bit. Looks like that. And this is just for like a little extra security, because I'm scared, y'all. I'm definitely scared. Okay. And that should be good enough. I'm going to put this off to the side, put away my silicone grease, and we'll get to eye dropping. So what I've done here, I've put the pen body in a vial holder, like a little sample holder, and it's good enough for now. What I'm going to do is take the eyedropper, just squeeze some ink, and eyedropper it in. This is very fun, you guys. So, and I don't want to fill it up very full because I want to see some sloshing. So I think that's all I'm going to do. Put my eyedropper off to the side so I can clean it. Again, this is BPC Firebox. So it's a very dark, rich, rusty red. No shimmers in it whatsoever. And there is my pen. About a third of the way filled. Let's put the section and the nib back together. And now, let's look at it. Look at the ink slosh. That is so cool. We can hold it down a little bit to get that ink flowing. I'm going to take my sleeve here to see if there's some silicone grease. And so with the eyedropper pen as well, you do have to let the ink kind of move down through the feed and through the nib. So I'm going to cap this and hold it for a little bit, about a couple minutes, and we'll see if we can get her to write. If you have a name for her, please put it down in the comments while we're waiting for the ink to come down. What does she look like to you? What name? As you can see here too, the nib seems to align pretty well with the clip, if that matters to you. It's not a huge thing for me in particular. I don't really look at the alignment of the nib and the clip. But it's nice to know if you do like that. For our pen test, we are using a Gouletpenslet notebook, and this is a 64-page, 68 GSM Tomoe River paper. So just a little bit thicker than the Hobonichi paper, and this was gifted to me by my ultimate penabler, as you've probably heard of before. He does lurk in the comments, so let him know what's up down there in the comments. So we're going to do a little bit of a pen test. So let's see, this is I want to make sure that we're focused. Very smooth. This is a very thick medium, you guys, which I'm very happy about because it doesn't come in a broad. It comes in a fude, though, if that's what you like, especially for drawing. So what I'm going to do now, we've kind of seen how it started to write throughout. This is a regular ink. It doesn't have shimmers. Doesn't have really any other properties other than shading from what I can see. And so I am going to fast forward just a little bit while I write some nonsense on this page to see what it looks like from the beginning to the end. So overall, this pen wrote pretty well. As you can see, the wetness and the thickness of the line was pretty consistent throughout the test. My hand definitely felt this pen in, like, I love a big pen. This is a massive, thick, chubby gal. I'm gonna call it gal. And it wasn't very comfortable to write with for a long period of time. As you can see, my handwriting was kind of getting a little indulgent, I would say, at the end because my hand was cramping up a little bit. But just know I do have carpal tunnel, so if that's something, I have carpal tunnel in both wrists. So if that's something that you suffer from it as well, this definitely did scratch that carpal tunnel wound a little bit. But as far as like writing, the only problem I had with the nib or anything itself was the hard starts. And it looked like every time I kind of exposed it to more air while I was lifting up to make a new paragraph or a new sentence, it seemed to hard start. So let's see if it's going to hard start right now. No, it's a weird one. And It could be technique too, because of the way that I have to hold this, the way that my hand was cramping up a little bit. So some of it could be technique, but also for long periods of time for me with carpal tunnel on both sides, it wasn't super comfortable for me, but I am definitely keeping her because is she not cute? Is she not the cutest? I mean, I just love seeing that ink slosh around in there. It took about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes for the ink to move down the feed into the nib. And we'll see as we store this to see if there's any ink that drips from the nib and inside, and see how she holds up for a week or so. Anyway, let's go ahead and add her to the book. All right, how pretty is that, you guys? We added her to the book, and we'll see how she holds up over this next week. I am going to be carrying her with me back and forth to work in a pen case, so not in my pocket or anything, because I'm still scared of how this is all gonna hold up. I always get wary with eyedropper pens because it's like, that's a whole lot of ink in there that could just explode. And so I do have to wear like a specific uniform for work, and so it's not like I can just like bring a lot of extras. So let's hope that this stays over time. I am going to test it out pretty thoroughly because it's a pretty cheap pen, and why not, right? It's for the YouTube sphere to see how well this pen holds up, because $20 is $20, you know what I mean? So we don't want to be spending our money if it's not worth it. But again, the cute factor alone is pretty interesting. Anyways, I look forward to seeing down in your comments what you are trying to name her. The one I like the most, I will pin to the top. And, good luck. I hope you're staying safe and well, and I hope you have a good week. See you later. Bye.